We've been together 12 years, married for 10. We are in a dead bedroom. It was totally dead for 6 months before I filed for divorce. It was on life support, or ICU, for 5 to 6 years before that. We both wanted to be younger parents and both wanted 2 kids. We conceived our daughter almost immediately after getting married. When she was 6 months old, we started trying to have a second child. It never happened. After 3 years, we started seeing fertility special and found out we both have pretty serious reproductive issues. The doctor told us our daughter was nothing short of a miracle and said it was against all odds that we not only conceived but carried to term. It was after this that the sex life began to seriously decline. Initially, I thought it was just a pain of finding out and knowing we wouldn't be able to afford the fertility options, and figured it would get better over time. It never did. It only got worse 5 years ago, I would say. We had sex 15 to 20 times the year in 2023. We had sex 3 times. I have tried everything to improve this, spicing things up. Talking suggested counselling. I more than pull my weight around the house. We both work and work. Basically the same hours. I'm telling this because the usual stuff I read on Reddit about how the wife does it all is not even close to true. Over time, I have grown more and more resentful. The thing that makes me the most resentful is she knows I have a high libido and just doesn't care. I, on the other hand, know she loves to be rubbed on or massage and never took that from her. I'd probably rub on her 325 times a year. Almost every night I will rub her claves, shins, ankles and feet 4 to 5 nights a month. I will go big and do neck, shoulder, back, but hamstring, quads, shins, calves, ankles and feet. I noticed that doing the big massages was the best way to get sex, as she was more likely to allow me to do the foreplay things. I know work on her. If I had already done this prep, I did them more often a few years ago, but now not as much. The success rate was never that great, maybe 20% of the time, but in the last 2 years we have definitely been in the single digits when we hit the 4 months of absolutely no sex. I decided I wasn't rubbing on her ever again. It only took 3 days for her to notice, and she asked me to. I told her no. And I got angry. I said, why should I when you don't give a about what I want? Obviously not my finest moment, and a huge argument followed. Things got ice cold at home, but I wasn't giving in. I was tired of all of it a few weeks ago. She told me, fine, I will just start seeing a professional masseuse. I said, then I will start seeing sex workers. She said that was cheating. I said, fine, I won't, but you will not get a massage from anyone else. That is also cheating. She said I was being ridiculous. And I said, no, it's being touched in an intimate way by another. If I can of that, neither can you. And I swear to God, if you do, I will file for divorce. That day, the following weekend, she went to get her nails done. I know how long it takes for her to get her nails done. She came back almost an hour and a half later than I expected. She didn't say anything, just acted normal. I got on her credit card app on my phone. And sure enough, there was a $1.95 charge to the goddamn massage person in the same strip mall as the nail place. I lost it, and when I did sort it, I think we both let out years of frustration on each other. True to my word, though, I called the divorce lawyer on Monday. The only part that upset me was my lawyer said, based on these circumstances, I couldn't live infidelity as the reason for divorce, and had to go with irreconcilable differences anyway. She has been telling people we are divorcing because she got a massage since then. I have had a number of family members and friends call me and say I'm in some of them, even when I tell them my real reasons still think I'm in and that my reasons aren't good enough. Personally, I think getting massage when told not to is plenty of reasoning. So am I the here personal note? I reread this and I know it comes off angry, but I am angry at myself for wasting so many years. But I'm also angry because this was just the ultimate you. She just went and did it anyway, and didn't even try to hide it. Literally went to the same place next to the nail salon. and used her credit card, which I pay, like I wasn't going to see the charge op. The last draw is almost always something small and stupid, but it's just the latest in a long list of hurts. You didn't divorce because she got a massage. You divorced because she denied you intimacy for the better part of a decade. And she didn't give a about it. The main problem is that your needs are not being met. But hers was also, I guarantee you that if you dig a little bit deeper, you will find an affair. Because if she's not getting it from you, trust me, OP, she's getting it from someone else. Gentlemen, never ever tolerate a dead bedroom in a relationship. And now for today's second story, I unintentionally had the best cheating ex-revenge story ever. And I hate myself for it, posted by Rented User Biscuits and Wine. I was in a relationship with this girl. When we were both in high school, our relationship was very toxic. And I now realize that a lot of that was me. I would get insecure and jealous over every little thing that she tried to do, and would try to stop her from pursuing the things she likes. Because of this, one of the things she really got into was modeling. She started doing photo shoots with a pretty well-known photographer in our area. And this made me very upset at the time. This was almost a decade ago, and I have become more mature since, I promise. I told her how I felt, and we started to argue. In the end, there was pretty much an unspoken agreement that she would be allowed to continue her modelling thing. I would soon come to realise that my assumptions, though, in hindsight, seemed absolutely delusional, were actually correct as I went through her phone and found messages between them, her and her photographer, calling each other daddy. And, baby, I confronted her about this, and she insisted that it was purely platonic, and my dumbass self believed her. A few months pass, and I go through her phone once again only to find really long conversations between them with an awful lot of I love yous. Which they exchanged frequently throughout. This was still not enough for me to want to end the relationship. But the third incident was the straw that broke the camel's back. Why are you still here? We were out on a date, and at some point she told me that she wanted to go through my phone. I told her that she's welcome to do so long as I get to go through hers. She then changes her mind, which only piques my curiosity even more. So I insist that she go through my phone and that I will do the same with hers after she goes through my phone and finds absolutely nothing, because I genuinely don't cheat. And as you'd probably expect, I find new conversations on her phone, this time with the guy's girlfriend, where she appears to be very upset as she calls her various derogatory words for being in the photographer's house with him alone. This prompts me to end the relationship right then and there, and they make their relationship official on social media just a few weeks later. Now, fast forward a couple years, they break up, and one of our mutual friends thinks it would be a good idea to get us back together so that maybe I can help mend her broken heart. But that's so dumb. I don't mind the idea, as I've always felt like even though the relationship ended on bad terms, I could have done better in the relationship. So we meet up, and one thing leads to another, and we do the deed. She then tells me that she hates how the relationship ended, and that it was a shame that we couldn't make it work. I agree with her, although there is a small part of me that just wants to scream. It didn't work, because you're a lying cheating. We meet up more frequently over the next few days, and it always ends with me and her in bed. However, at some point she asks if I have any plans on making it official between us. I decided to lie and tell her I had just gotten out of my own relationship and that I wasn't ready to start a new one. The truth was that I had been single for a while and was only beginning to be happy again. I started to appreciate having more time to actually do things that I wanted to do, to be able to be with my family more and focus on my priorities in life. I truly felt that at this point I had grown so much since we last spoke, and that she was still the same person, just with a different hairstyle. I knew right then that I had no plans on getting back together with her. She then hits me with the last question I want to hear: when will you be ready at the spur of the moment? I tell her that I'm not sure yet, but maybe soon. And so trouble begins. We continue to meet up, hook up, talk. And day after day, she asks the same question, "Are you ready yet?" You know, when you're on a really long road trip and the kid at the back is constantly asking, "Are we there yet?" And you just want to turn the van around and tell them we're not going anymore because of them, just to make them feel shitty. Well, it was something like that. I couldn't take it anymore and just wanted to shut her up. But instead of telling her the truth, I told her something else entirely. I told her that this was all an elaborate ploy by me to get revenge on her for cheating all those years ago, and that I had been waiting for an opportunity to screw her over. I told her that I didn't care about her at all, and that she was delusional for thinking I would ever get back with her after what she had done. Of course, this conversation ends with her in tears, and I drop her off at our mutual friend's place and we never talk again. It has been a few years since, and I still feel guilty knowing that she was probably in a very vulnerable state and that I had made her feel even worse. I would very much like the opportunity to tell her the truth, that I had pretty much forgiven her for what she did, even back then, and that I understand that I was also very toxic during our relationship. But that's not happening because she blocked me on all socials. And the last thing I want is to drag our mutual friend into anything involving her ever again. Edit. I understand that the whole cheating thing maybe sort of justifies what I did to some people, but I was already pretty much over it at that point and was at first genuinely willing to give it a shot again. That's stupid. You're stuck. Stupid. Stop being stupid. You might argue she deserved it, but I just feel bad knowing there were better ways to let her down, but I just wasn't brave enough to deal with it. Oh, the only thing you weren't brave enough to do was to break up with her the first time you caught her cheating. Why the hell are you even feeling guilty? She cheated on you. She didn't give a about what you would feel, so why should you? This whole sleeping around with a cheating ex is already gross enough. But you were actually thinking of getting back together with her at first. Are you serious? You said you've grown a lot since the breakup, but from what I'm reading, you're still a donut. But now at least you have some semblance of spine. And while I wouldn't call this the best revenge on a cheating ex, you still did well, OP. But if that was me, I would tell her that she killed it by constantly asking, let her know that it was all on her. And that while you were willing to try, her desperation and pushiness dissolved any potential interest you had in her that would have hurt more than just getting pumped and dumped. She's probably way used to that.